We've been looking forward to this one all week long when we found out that Mr. Kane Hodder was going to be joining us here on the Kevin and Bean Show. He is an icon of modern horror cinema. Perhaps you know his work, as freaking Jason. How about that in the Friday the 13th movies? He has a fascinating Indiegogo project up online right now that we want to talk about and we all want to contribute to. Mr. Hodder, welcome to the show, sir. Real pleasure to have you.
Thank you, guys. It's good to be with you. I wish I could be there live, but I've been a little under the weather lately with a little bronchitis, so we're doing it this way. Sorry about that.
It's not a problem. We're happy to have you. Your phone sounds great. So you have an Indiegogo up here. Somebody decided it's time to make a movie about this man. He has had a fascinating life, right?
Well, yes, absolutely. A company called Masterfully Macabre decided to do a documentary about my life because there was such a good response from the public about my book, Unmasked, that they thought they should go a little more in depth and do a documentary about it. So I'm very happy about that.
Now, you've been in show business for about 40 years as an actor and as a stuntman, right?
That's correct. And, at the beginning, all of my work was stunts. And in the last 10 years, it's pretty much turned all to acting. I mean, I've been doing comedies. Lately, I did a movie called Smothered, where it's a horror comedy written and directed by John Schneider, which was a lot of fun. I love doing comedy. I just finished a movie in Philly called Death House, which is not comedic at all. But
it doesn't sound comedic.
Story. But has all my buddies and friends from horror in it, which is great. And even more fun, I did the mocap for Friday the 13th, the video game. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, which comes out, I think, sometime in September or something. And, so I've been doing all kinds of different stuff. And I've always appreciated the fans and loved doing the conventions and stuff. So that's why we decided to go ahead and do the documentary.
Well, the movie looks great because your friends, including Elvira and Robert Englund and Bruce Campbell, and just all these names are in the thing talking about you and talking about how much they like you and respect your work and what a legend you are. And one of the things that comes up in the preview video on Indiegogo is about a horrific burn accident you had as a young man. And that changed your whole life, didn't it, Kane?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was just beginning my stunt career. It was my first professional year in the stunt business, and I got burned really badly, and then unfortunately had not good care at the beginning for the burn, so it turned into a complete nightmare that, I talk about in great depth. And, because it's an injury where you get to be reminded of it every day you look in the mirror. So it's kind of a tough thing physically, obviously, to get through, but also emotionally, it's a really tough thing to overcome because you're constantly reminded of it.
What percentage of your body got burned and what parts of your body, Ken?
Almost all upper body and about 45 to 50%.
Wow.
And, a lot of, mostly third degree, so there was numerous skin grafting procedures and stuff, and it's just a really tough injury, and I was only 22 at the time, so,
wow. How did that affect what you did as a stuntman in years afterward? Did you turn down a lot of sorts of jobs because you feared they might be dangerous?
I never did, really. It's an interesting question because you would have thought I would maybe at least decide to not do fire stunts.
Well, I mean,
anymore.
that's how we would decide that. Right.
And what I did was ended up not doing them for a little while, a couple of years, and then I thought, I always enjoyed doing a fire stunt when it went successfully, of course. But so I ended up kind of specializing in that in the years to come.
Oh, wow.
One of my favorite. Yeah, I know.
You're a terrible decision maker.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but one of my favorite fire stunts I ever did was as Jason in Part 7. And I still love that fire stunt. It's so huge and scary looking, and that's why I always liked doing fire stunts, because it's so terrifying to see someone on fire.
Yeah, it sure is, and even more terrifying to be on fire, though.
Yes, and then, that's another reason we have the Indiegogo thing. It's you can get to it, I think, KaneHodderMovie.com is the easiest way to get to it. But we're the burn unit that I finally got to, which saved my life, is in San Francisco at St. Francis Hospital called Bothan. I assume it's still called the same thing, but it was just recently. And Bothan Burn Unit. And we're trying to give back to that burn unit because it was obviously the one place that saved my life. And we want to give back to the unit and the staff and everything. Even though it's been that long, it's still it's such a big part of my...
Hey, they saved your life, Kane. You don't get over that. No matter how long you live, they saved your life. So that's great.
They really did.
I assume that it would be sort of the same everywhere and that all hospitals could handle burns like that. What went wrong with the first hospital you went to?
Well, yeah, that is not the case. Most hospitals are not equipped to handle a burn injury like I had. It has to be a hospital that has a self-contained burn unit within it. Because the unit itself has to be just completely sterile environment. And that's such a critical part of burn recovery, is being in a sterile environment. And if you're in a regular hospital, that is not the case.
Yeah, that makes sense because you're so vulnerable without skin. You're so you're prone to infections. Yeah,
and because I didn't have the proper care at first, I got a staph infection and it almost killed me and stuff. So the burn unit itself needs to be where you are with any kind of serious burn, because it's all completely different care, and it's all a staff that's dedicated only to burns and stuff like that. So it's a long process, and I still volunteer whenever I can with burn groups and burn units. If I'm in a city, sometimes I'll just go visit the burn unit, even, not saying what I do for a living or anything, just saying, hey, I'm a former burn survivor, and if anybody needs to talk about stuff, I'd love to come in, because it's the one of the injuries or situations medically that when you are talking to somebody, if they have not been through it themselves, you don't listen to what they say. It's kind of unfortunate, but that's how it is. If you can look at somebody with burn scars on them and they're telling you what to expect, you'll listen.
Yeah, it makes sense.
If you're not, you're in your mind, you're saying, you really don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea what I'm going through. So the point is, when you can tell people, I do know what you're going through, and this is what to expect, then it's invaluable.
That's great that you're continuing to give back all these years later. This is the voice of actor Kane Hodder here on the Kevin and Bean Show. Again, the website is KaneHodderMovie.com. Help us make this documentary and also give some money back to the burn unit. Of course, Kane is Victor from the Hatchet trilogy, and of course, Jason from a whole bunch of the Jason movies, the Friday the 13th franchise. You do have a remarkable story, and I can't wait to see this movie. I'm frankly surprised, Kane, that you're not further along with your goal, and I know that you've just started this in the last few days, but you would think the horror community, especially when you got people like Bruce Campbell and others out there talking about your movie, you think they would be all in on this story.
I still think they will. I think it's a little bit of word of mouth to get it around to people, because the horror fans are so supportive of everything a horror personality does that I'm confident we'll get there.
I think so, too. Well, we're happy to have you on to help spread the word. KaneHodderMovie.com. Hope you get over that infection. Kane, thank you so much for coming on. We really enjoyed talking to you, sir.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure. I appreciate it.
Thanks.